Hi there, guys. This is a bit of a new thing that we'd like to do every once in a while. We'd like to, Tuesday nights especially, and some other nights of the week, Kale and I will hang out, and usually there's several other instructors after we teach over at the obedience facility or over here at the agility arena. We'll hang out and train our dogs, and we thought we'd bring you guys behind the scenes, sort of bring you into the arena just to see what we're up to and give you guys an opportunity to have a chat. If there's questions you had about dog agility, this would be a good place to ask them, and we just kind of wanted to hang out. So that's what we're doing today. Now, it's a little bit of a different setup. This is clearly not the train station. I don't have access to the comments like we do in other situations, so I thought I might grab my phone and I'll watch the chat. I see Chandlin Blake and Madison Winters. Thanks for joining us, guys, here on the stream. Megan Ashley. Hi there, Megan. Megan's one of our My Dog Can students. We wanted just to... Now, Kale, I think Kale might have an agenda for tonight. So now that I can see you guys in the comments, I need you to let me know what the audio's like, because we're sort of doing a strange audio setup, and I need to see if it works, and if it does, then I'll do it for future live streams that we do here in the agility facility. Hi there, Crystal, the animal lover. Good to see you. So let me know if the audio is okay. It's hard to tell on this camera, but I think it's okay. I don't know. I guess I could turn this up a little bit. Oh, I think it's a little bit too loud, but I can adjust that. No problem. And this is Kale. You guys know Kale.
Hi. So tonight, my students left about a half hour ago, and I will admit that sometimes part of my course design for my week are things that I know I want to work on with my dogs as well. There's lots of us that are sort of training through similar things in preparation for stuff. Now, for once in my life, I am actually not preparing for anything, which is very unusual. Yeah. Literally all year, it just is like preparation for the next big event, and then once that's done, then it's prep for the next one. And with wedding planning and just a bunch of other stuff going on, I just decided that this year I was going to do one big event in May. So I went to the World Championships in May to Amsterdam, Netherlands. And then after that, I'm just going to do competitions when I want to. And I don't really want to right now because training my dogs is way more fun. So anyways, I have a course set up tonight, and the class that just finished is my level 5, so it's my highest level of class, and it's my students that are working at an international level. So some of them have aspirations to be on a world team, some of them have been on a world team, so it's the highest level. So I'm going to be working through the course that I set up for them this week with Rad. Here, Rad. Come here, buddy. He is my 4-year-old border collie. He is my current competition dog, and we just started competing this year, like a little bit more seriously, but I'm still training through a bunch of things. So you'll see he might do some things great, and he might make some mistakes, but that's okay. That's why I'm having a training session. Yeah, and you just missed it. I didn't turn the camera in time, but Rad was having a massive scratch on the ground. Yeah. He looked pretty cute there. Yeah, so what I've been doing for the last 15 minutes is just warming him up. So we've walked around the arena a bunch of times. We did some jumping exercises. We did some tugging. So you'll notice he's panting already when you see him in a second. So he's warm and ready to go. And that's something that we take really seriously here. We do a lot of warm up with our dogs before we start our agility training to make sure that we reduce any risk of injury. So.
Madison says, hey, Kale. Crystal, the animal lover, says, hi, Kale.
Hi.
And Madison says, sometimes it's good to take a break and tone it down.
Totally, yeah. Competing's fun, don't get me wrong, but I've been competing since I was 7 years old. And in the last several years, I've been competing quite a bit, like going to all the big events, and there's a lot of them now. So I don't know. I have a young puppy, which I'm sure you've seen on our live stream. Her name's Beeline. She had class earlier, actually, with Ken and Jamie, are the coaches of the class. It was so much fun. If Rod gets too tired, I'll bring her out and do some baby stuff with her too. But yeah, I'm just enjoying training my dogs. I've always liked training my dogs. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Chandlin says, "Oh, hi, Rad," with a heart emoji.
Rah.
So what are you going to work on today?
Well, I'm going to work through the course, but there's some tricky parts to the course. There's a really hard weave entry with a tunnel. Like, I don't know if you can see when I turn the camera to the weaves. There's a weed entry with a tunnel probably maybe 8 feet behind it. So he's got to take the weaves and not take the tunnel. So that will be a challenge. There's a few different places where he has to get collection. He has to do a pretty independent teeter-totter. I don't know. I don't really want to run it all the way through. I think I just want to run and like reward certain parts of it. So anyways, maybe I'll do that. And if you have questions or if you think I need to do something, then just yell at me or something.
Sure, yeah. Megan actually says it's also heckin' muggy out. At least in Peterborough it is. Hopefully your arena is air conditioned.
It's not air conditioned, but
I'll show you what we have.
Yeah, we have a couple million windows all the way around the outside. And we also have 4 very large fans, which Ken has insisted that we turn off.
Just for now.
Which we had a small battle about before we went online because I want them on. But you wouldn't be able to hear us, so.
No, you can see.
They can't be on.
The fans are off right now. And actually, this is our arena. For anybody that I guess that hasn't seen our arena.
Yeah.
This is our arena. Just doing. Oh, and actually, you know what? We can talk about this after, but maybe we'll talk about slice and jitterbug and ping pong after.
Our arena is about 80 by 145 or so, so it's lots of space, and the footing's fabulous, very bouncy. But yeah, we're good. Okay, I'm gonna start. Is that cool? Okay, buddy, I don't want you to get cool.
Now, I think Kale will probably narrate some of this. I think, and I'll be the cameraman. Hopefully, she heard me say that.
I can't narrate and run at the same time.
Oh no, that's true. Maybe I can bring you guys up just a little bit higher. Let's see if we can get a better perspective on this.
Yes! Good boy! So I told him to collect and he didn't. Out. You're probably going to have to repeat everything I say though. Out.
Yeah, so Kale was having trouble getting, Rad didn't collect like Kale wanted him to, so she reset him and just insisted on some collection. I'll tell you guys a funny story about Rad's out in a minute when Kale's done training a little bit. Yeah, that was kind of a pokey teeter for Rad. So if you guys have any questions, I can see the chat, and we will be taking a break to answer any questions that you guys might have. So be sure to ask them in the chat section because we can see them.
There we go. There we go. That's what I want. Good.
You can see how excited Rad is to play agility.
Yes! Go, Tina, go, 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 go! Yes! Run! Wait. Yes, go! Yay! You're so good. Good boy.
Kale, do you
not a problem.
want to take a break and talk about that with him, or?
Good boy. Yes, camera drink. Good.
Good. So what were you guys working on there? I know there was a lot happening at the beginning, and you reset them once to get more collection.
That long jump's a really hard one to get collection on because they have to go through the uprights a certain way. And if they slice it too short and they come through the gap on the side, then you get a fault for that, which he didn't do, but he like overcompensated. He jumped too long. So the skill is way easier if you did the talking because I'm really breath.
Yeah.
But the skill is to collect and turn back to me without slicing, like going through the gap.
Yeah.
But he did really good. His first teeter-totter was crappy, in my opinion. And it was okay teeter, but I expect him to do it better than that. And the weave tunnel thing wasn't...
Yeah, the weave looked really good.
Yeah, was not our problem.
Occasionally Rad will pop
out. Yeah, we schooled that for the last 2 weeks. He's like back to normal again.
It's nice to see his teeter to be so consistent, or his weaves to be so consistent, and nice and drivey too, which was really nice to see. So I see your questions coming in, and once Kale is...
What's that?
Well, there's some questions coming in that we'll talk about in a sec. We'll give them a break, and then if you want to get B or whatever we want to do, we can talk about these questions. We'll keep Rad moving just to keep them warm. Now, we do, especially in our agility classes, about warming up your dog, keeping them warm while you're working, also cool down, which is really important.
Go, shh, go, shh. Hey. What's that? Remember that.
So Radley knocked
Yay!
the wall jump.
You picked up those chochos, young man.
And Kale got on his case.
Boy. Right. It's like, yay! Right. Yes! That's my boy. Yay! Good boy. Yes.
So if Kale didn't get on Rad's case about knocking the wall jump, Rad gets higher and higher and higher. He gets so excited and stimulated that he would reach a point where he wasn't thinking about picking his feet up, that he wasn't thinking about trying to keep the bars up. So Kale just stopped him and sent him around to do the wall jump.
Yes. Go. Jump. Right. Easy. Right. Yes! Good! Yay! Who's the smartest guy?
You guys can see why Rad gets so excited when he's playing agility, when you hear Kale's voice there.
Good boy. Yes. Okay, one more time. Here, break. Rada. So good. Okay, are you ready? Okay. Ta, come on. All right, ready? Set. Come on. Top. Oh, hop, right. Up. Easy. That was my fault. So this is the hardest part, because he's getting tired. So he's not as forgiving. I was bad there, I gave him a back cue. But he needs to pick up my slack. But it's hard for him to do that when he's tired. Ready, set, run. Be bigger, run. I'm right. Stop. Ready, go up. Run. Easy. Run. Right. Yes! Good! That was good. Good boy! Okay, come get a drink. That was a good boy, buddy.
Okay, I'm going to bring you guys back down.
You're hot
now. A little bit lower.
Yay! So good.
Pretty good, buddy.
Hey, come here. Come get a drink. Here you go. Drink.
So let's see what questions we might have in the chat here.
It's really freaking hot.
I know. It's if we could turn the fans on, it would be nice, but it's really hard to hear. If you guys need to take a quick jaunt outside or something, because it's a little bit cooler.
I'll listen and walk in at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, so again, we talk a lot about keeping your dog
here, buddy, come drink.
In top physical shape. We talk a lot about warming up and cooling down your dog. So what do you normally do with the dogs. Like, this is a short training session, a little bit shorter than normal.
A little bit.
Yeah, not by much though. So, Kale, spend a little bit of time warming up Rad with, whatever dog, warm them up first.
Today I actually think I warmed him up longer than what I was able to train him at.
Yeah.
But it's hot and humid, so you can see he's really hot. It's better to do short bursts and then take breaks. I mean, it's lucky for me I have another dog, so usually when it's hot like this, I'll train him for like 5-7 minutes, and then I'll cool him a little bit, or have him like go up on a table and stay. And then I'll do B, and then I could just switch them back and forth. Yeah. So that, and then I cool them out together at the end of the session.
Right, yeah. And so we want to be careful with our dogs, because we know so often, we'll go out there and we'll train them, and then we'll sit down, not us specifically, but people will sit down with their dog or put them in their kennel, like at an agility competition, for example.
Yeah, put them in small kennels.
Yeah, because it's like busy, and you're like, you're distracted because it's a competition. But it's really important that you walk your dog out. It's really important that you stretch your dog out, and really get them into a state when they're ready to be as athletic as they can be. So we want to make sure that we do that with Rad, as well as on a day like today.
You mentioned it, but like keeping them in really good shape. Like, you probably can't tell, but he does not have an ounce of fat on him. Most people will probably think he's way too skinny, but he's perfect shape for sport.
Yeah.
Not carrying any excess weight. He's got tons and tons of muscle, like his back end. If you feel it, he's like hard as a rock. But it just allows him to go fast, but also like he's in shape, so it's easier for him to not get hurt. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll get him up and move him around. I think the audio is probably still good. It's hard to know. This is a totally new setup. And let us know in the chat, is this something you guys want to see? We thought this would be a great opportunity to answer some questions, or, just sort of hang out with you guys. We have, our YouTube community is getting bigger every day, and it's awesome. So many great, questions and comments, and, our chat regulars are amazing. So, I thank you guys for joining us here. I should go into discussion a little bit and see or into the chat a little bit and see what we've got going on. Virginia Ward, man, I wish I could find an agility course like this in Arizona. I have a Husky Shepherd, and although she's my service dog, she could really benefit from this. You're right. Talk about some of the different breeds we have in our classes, and we've had Huskies in our level 2 obedience.
Obedience?
Or sorry, agility.
Yeah,
we've had all kinds of different breeds in our agility classes.
Yeah, we have all kinds of breeds. Obviously, there's lots of Border Collies and Shelties. But we have tons of other breeds. Like, even tonight alone, we had a Springer Spaniel, we had a CKC Spaniel, we had a Schnauzer, Doberman, Havanese, Golden Doodle.
Totally. Dog agility is good for, any breed of dog, as long as,
Chihuahua, we had a Chihuahua in classes tonight.
So as long as you're aware of your dog, their limitations and capabilities, I think a little bit about Jamie's Bostons.
Yeah.
Like, it might not be able to work. She trained Boston Terriers, and she would run agility with them. Short courses, she wouldn't. She might not work at a night like tonight because it's so hot, and those short-snouted dogs do have a tendency to overheat. So you just sort of stay within the limitations of the dog. But any dog can.
She competed with those dogs and won national championships, and the dogs were awesome.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, they also, Lulu would wear a tutu.
Yeah, in our shows.
In our shows, so we'd go to somewhere in Toronto, and we'd put on these shows, and then Lulu, the Boston Terrier, would come out with instructor Jamie, and she'd be doing these little pirouettes, wearing a little tutu. It was adorable, and people seemed to love it. Megan Ashley, audio over Cool Breeze. Madison Winters, I wish I lived closer. It'd be nice to learn from you guys. Yeah, it would be nice. But again, Madison, we do have the My Dog Can program. So if it's something that you want to, if it's like an obedience skill, or teaching your dog to listen, come when called, all of those things, My Dog Can is the place that you can work with us. Live work with us, and work on those skills. Megan Ashley, I would love any suggestions I can work on while I wait for the next agility session at my facility to start. We work on start line weights whenever I can, as well as collection around posts and objects. And maybe we can talk about that briefly, like just working on wrapping or something like that.
Yeah, you could do wraps. You can utilize the wraps to work on different handling maneuvers. I would be careful about how many wraps that you do, because it can be very strenuous on the dog. We had a big discussion today, about who do a lot of wraps on wings and whatnot, how those dogs tend to hit the uprights of the jumps more often. So you want to be careful about how much you do it. They're an excellent exercise for sure, but in moderation.
Right.
Another thing that I do a lot with my foundation dogs is I do a lot of flat work where I teach the dog how to go from obstacle or toy focus to handler focus. And I find that when I do a lot of those types of exercises, when I start to put jumps or anything like that in, I can use my toy to strategically place it in positions to help tighten a turn or get independence or whatever it might be. And a lot of dogs struggle with being able to work with a reward out and not just run to it whenever they want to, or bypass it, or listen to cues to go to it, or whatever. So I do a ton of that with dogs before I start any agility training. So typically when I'm doing like raising a dog to do agility, for the first many months of their life, like 7, 8, 9, 10 months, depending, they will do foundation agilities that require no equipment or like very low equipment that's more working on like body awareness and things that will help me in the future, and then all obedience training. So recall, distraction work, impulse control, mindfulness, retrieving, things for start lines, problem solving, shaping, all those types of things. And because I work so much on that, the actual agility process goes super fast. We have this concept that we call train smarter, and that is basically training things that are helpful so that when you get to agility, you're not doing hundreds and hundreds of reps and hundreds of reps that are incorrect. So it's being more efficient with your training so that you actually are powering through the stages quicker, but with more success, because you build a better foundation first.
Yeah, and it's funny because Megan actually mentioned Fox is terrible when I try to work him with a reward on the ground.
Yeah, so you need to work on that.
Yeah, and that's something your leave it is can be really advantageous for that.
Yeah, I can actually show you something right now really quick. It's not very hard.
Okay.
Radley, can you get your toy, please? Get your toy. We're going to show something. Get your tuck. Can you see me?
I see lots of questions coming in. I've got to go be a cameraman for a moment, but we've got lots of great comments, and we will get to them shortly. Okay, so sure, I'm zoomed in. Give me one sec. How far out?
I'll just go right here so you can hear me.
Okay.
Here, bud. Sit. He's tired. Okay, just a couple times. Sit. So what I would do is work him in a sit, put my reward out so that it's directly in front of him. I'm just going to move this jump because he's going to think we're still doing coursework here. So what I would do is expose the toy to him, and you can use food. You don't have to use a toy. You just need to use a reward that your dog likes. And what I'm going to do is just cue him with the foot, and as he gets close, I'm going to cue him that he's allowed to get the toy. Okay. You would do that a couple times, so obviously that's really easy. But then I'm going to make it harder. Out. Sit. Wait. So same thing. So there's the toy. But if I look to this side, he can't run behind my back. I'm teaching him about how to respect my body line. So we teach, in our classes, we teach our dogs about, a body line. So they're not allowed to cross the plane of our side or our front unless we've given them a cue to do so. So if I'm looking at this side of my body, even though it's a direct line behind my back to the toy, he needs to come to the side I'm looking at. And if he does, I'll give him the cue to go get the toy. Okay, yeah, good boy. So I yes him as soon as he makes the right decision, and then I can reward from there. Obviously, before you do this training, your dog needs to know, A, how to retrieve a toy if you're using a toy. You'll notice when he gets the toy, he brings it directly back to me. It doesn't do any victory laps. The toy is about us together, and again, that's something you should train before you're doing agility training. Second thing is it works a start line. And third thing, out buddy, is it's also teaching him about impulse control. So he has to wait for permission to go and get the toy before I release him. Then I can make it harder. Sit. Good boy. So maybe I leave the toy here. And if I stand out here, he's got to come to my handling first. Okay. Yeah. That's okay. Go kitty, 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 kitty. Good boy. That was a really bad turn, but whatever. I'm powering through this to sort of show you. Then you can do all kinds of little exercises from there. I also will teach him about handler focus. So I have a cue that means to stick close to me. Sit. So I'll give that to him this time. Wait. Okay. Yes. Hey. Yay! Okay. Get. Good boy. Whew, I'm dizzy. Yay. So again, when I say here, and I tap my leg, he's supposed to hug close to my side and not go get distracted. So again, he just doesn't go get his toy whenever he wants to. He needs to wait for my permission. So I do tons of those games, and the dogs think they're games, and it's so much fun. But again, all of that work, okay, get a drink, my love. Get a drink. You're a good boy. All that stuff translates really easily to agility equipment.
Yeah, and it's great emotional control.
Totally. Here, buddy, drink. Rah-rah.
Really good.
Drink.
And actually, we published a video on our YouTube channel teaching you, and I actually used RAD, how to teach your dog to bring a ball directly back to your hand. So if you're new to the channel or you haven't seen that video, check it out. It's probably on our homepage, like on our channel page. So we're really off balance here, and I know I don't mind it now, but if I watch this video after, I'll be like, geez, we're going to flip the camera over because we're both on one side. So I'll try to balance that out.
It's so hot.
My buddy. Nice job. So that was good. And I thought I saw another great question in here somewhere.
You're so handsome. Would you like to get a drink?
So
now?
Megan Ashley actually said, we also do body lines in some respect. This makes sense. Can I start working on this with him on a line until he has impulse control?
Yes.
Yeah, so make it easier for him.
And change up what rewards you have out in front versus what rewards you have on your body. So maybe you need to have something higher value on you, something less valuable out in front to teach him to transfer back and forth between the two a bit more easily.
Yeah, totally. Just going to adjust this camera shot just a little bit.
I am covered in dog fur now.
Oh, lovely.
Okay.
Okay. And what else have we got here? Oh, just as I come back around, I've got to flip the camera on. This is a little awkward to set up, but I think it's fun to see the questions that you guys have in here. Crystal the animal lover says, looks like Rad likes toys. He really does. He loves toys.
He likes food too.
He does like food too.
He likes toys a lot, yeah. But we do like a ton of toy work stuff when they're puppies to get them like, I would say he was pretty naturally into toys even from like a baby puppy.
Yeah.
But we do lots of like training to help increase that as well.
Chandelier.
This toy actually, he has had this toy. Do you remember this toy?
Yes, yeah.
Where did this toy come from? Do you remember?
I don't know. That was his first toy, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do you remember who it was from? Somebody very special to us that lives across the world.
Oh, Jaakko and Yanina?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have really good friends from Finland that I do agility training with. They are the founders of One Mind Dogs. And Yanida gave this to Ken.
Right. I remember that now.
When Ken got Rad as like a little like welcome home puppy gift, and we've literally had it for 4 years now. I don't use it very often because I don't want to wreck it because it's cute. But
it's a puppy warming gift, if there is such a thing. I guess it'd be like a shower gift, puppy shower gift. Regina Ward says, shoot, if I find something like this, I can exercise too. Yeah, you can see, like, look at the sweat that Kale has worked up. And I'll be honest, I taught 2 agility classes tonight, like 6 o'clock and 7:15, and I was sweating like crazy, just moving around in the arena, like coaching people on and running with their dogs and, you know, like moving around. Agility is quite an exercise, and it's a huge, good cardio workout.
Yeah.
You know, because you are
sprinting.
Yeah, it's all about, I guess it's the, what's the word? I can't think for it. It's a hypoxic state, because you're going like crazy for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and then you're back down to a rest state. So you need to do your cardio so that you have good recovery when you're playing agility with your dog. Same thing with the dogs. With our dogs, we do lots of like cross training. We'll do stuff like going with them for long runs, and we'll do all kinds of other stuff. I mean, you guys know, if you've watched the channel for long, you'll know that I've done some things like herding with Rad, and I've done all sorts of really, really cool stuff with him. And one thing we haven't gotten into that I kind of wish we had, is fly ball. I mean, fly
Yeah,
ball.
Rad is the first dog I have ever owned that does not play fly ball, which is crazy.
Yeah, do you guys know what fly ball is, or does anybody at home play fly ball? It is a lot of fun. It's basically like it's a doggy drag race, and the dogs zoom down to the end over 4 jumps. They hit a fly ball box, and then they return with a tennis ball. And then the dogs need to have the fastest time. The dogs need to cross the finish line, start line. It's controlled by a laser, or at least it's like calculated by a laser, as close to the same time as they can. Like races are won and
Super
lost
exciting.
by like hundredths of a second. I mean, it's really precise. So it's a really fun sport, but we haven't done it with Rad. All of our older dogs did compete in fly ball.
My hamstrings are tight. Lie down.
Oh, I bet. Tara Reed says, would love to see more agility. Watching Kale train is amazing. Well, thanks, Tara. I'm glad you enjoy it. It's fun. And like I said, I think maybe we'll make this a monthly hangout, something like that. You know, maybe once a month. Because
I can do some stuff with the puppy too. I think he's about done.
Okay,
I'm stretching him out now.
Yeah, so hold on. If you guys are waiting for some puppy agility training, Beeline, our puppy, is about to be out here to do some stuff, and Kale will show you that. So Madison Winters, this question is kind of weird, but what is it like owning a Border Collie compared to any breed with their desire to work and their ability to be amazing agility dogs? I think Border Collies naturally are a more agile breed. I mean, that's what they were bred for so many years when it came to herding.
Best agility dogs in the world are Border Collies.
Yeah, so they're naturally more agile. I think for the most part, you know, they have great work drive, or at least
They come with like their own set of problems too.
For
like
sure.
just because people do really well with them doesn't mean that. I think that a lot of people struggle with Border Collies, either in life, in like living with them, or doing agility if the dog's too much for them or they're not used to like really high drive dogs. I've been used, like our dogs are very high drive, but I've been used to it for years, so it's sort of what I know. And a lot of people actually specifically come to me because they are having issues with their, lie down on your side, with their dogs because they're not collecting or they're too crazy or whatever, because we work a lot on like mindfulness and collection and things like that. So they're definitely like a challenge, but I will live and have a Border Collie until I can no longer own a dog. I will always have a Border Collie.
Yeah.
For sure. I love them.
Yeah.
I love them for agility, and I love them as dogs. I love them as companions. They suit our life perfectly. They're just the best dogs, in my opinion. I love other breeds too, and I love the other breeds that we have, but I love my Border Collies.
Yeah, I like herding. I just love the sport of herding. And actually, there's a pretty cool video that's going to be released on Thursday. We're not going to have any train station this Thursday, but there's a cool video that talks about how many herding breeds there really are.
Yeah.
Like there are a ton of dogs that aren't Border Collies that are herding breeds, and you may have a herding breed at home right now. So check out that video on Flock. But with that said, there are lots of dogs that are not Border Collies that are super successful at agility. I mean, when you talk about the 22-inch category, Border Collies are generally at the top of that. But when you get to the smaller breeds, or even sometimes 22-inch, like something like an Aussie, there's some blazing fast Aussies out there.
Some, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're not limited to the Border Collie if you want to be successful in agility. And even the small dogs, when we talk about some of the smaller dogs, Funky's not a Border Collie, she's a mixed breed. And at the 16-inch jump height, she's been super successful, multiple-time world champion. So I think it's really important, and we talk about this with some of our students, is, don't limit yourself to thinking that because your dog is a certain way, that you can't be wildly successful with them.
Lots of it has to do with training.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, regardless of breed, regardless of attitude, whatever, you can work through a lot of those things and really have an amazing opportunity to be successful with your family pet, your four-legged family member, to become a sport dog, to be an agility dog. Kale, I'll ask you this when you come back. Veniceplex asks, I'll ask you when you come back. Tips on getting your dog more interested in toys. Great question. We have a video on the channel. It's probably on the channel page that teaches your dog to love toys, as well as a video that talks about teaching your dog to love tugging. Now, both of those videos will be really helpful for you because they both sort of revolve around the idea of building toy drive, of building, value to inanimate objects like your tug toys and your things, whatever the things are that you want to, the toy that you want to use for training with your dog. So check those out. And if you're watching in the replay, I will drop a link in the description below, or maybe if I get a chance, I'll put a card above us or something, that you can check those videos out. But Venice Flicks, check out our channel because we have 2 great videos, and I wish there was some way that I could pass them along right now, but I can't. I'm barely holding it together trying to watch the chat and make the live stream work. But tons of great questions here, guys. We do appreciate it. Chandler and Blake, I'll ask Kale your question. It's a great question. I'll ask her when she comes back. Megan Ashley, yes, I think Fox would love fly ball. I've never had a dog as ball driven as him. Yeah, and I'll tell you, Deegan, my black lab, was her greatest challenge. She was so motivated by grabbing the tennis ball that I really had to work. And there's a really great fly ball trainer around us that I went and I worked with him for some time to decrease the value of the tennis ball because hi cutie pie, she just loved it. And it would be tough because we'd get to the end of the run, she'd go for a tug, but then another ball would go by, and there were lots of challenges, but I had to work on building more focus on me and building more focus on the tug toy. But Deegan was super ball driven, so I completely understand what you're saying. Regina Ward, this is so informative, including the stretching of Rad. Yeah, and Becky Parker, hey Becky, one of our My Dog Can members. Love seeing Kale stretch Rad, and that's how I feel about Border Collies. Yeah, I can appreciate that for sure. We know, Becky, I can totally see you feeling that way. I'd love to see an entire live stream on stretching. Great idea, Becky. Yeah, we can definitely work that into, that might be a great topic for the train station. What do you think? Because then we can really drill down on specifics and, being our routines or Kale's routines with our dogs, and I think that would be a pretty good one for anybody. We do have lots of dog sports fans, so that might be a good one for you guys. And even if you have a super athletic, energetic dog that goes out on walks and runs their guts out, it's good to warm those dogs up. It's good to when they're warm. Those are some things we can talk about in a little bit. Let's see. So I see. Oh, there you are. So there's a question back here. Shandlin Blake asks, Kale, you were very successful before OMD. Do you feel that OMD has significantly helped your training?
OMD has clarified things immensely for me. So one of the things that I struggled with personally as a coach prior to meeting Yako and Yanita, specifically those 2 people, which I have immense respect for, I didn't really know what I knew. That probably sounds so dumb, but I didn't really know what I knew. Therefore, it was hard to clearly teach somebody else things. So things would happen that just made sense to me, and I sometimes struggled with why other people didn't get it. And their system and way of explaining things and teaching things and breaking things down were so clear that it allowed me to communicate more easily with my students. Did it enhance my dog training? No. I credit all of my dog training knowledge to my parents and to my life as my own experience. I've been training dogs since I was a little kid and teaching classes since I was 16 years old. So no, I don't think it helped me that way. But yeah, I love OMD. I don't do a lot of seminars anymore for OMD specifically because we sort of have our own brand going. But I love OMD. I think it's great. I also I'm into dog training, and I'm always growing and trying to learn from other people. I'm always learning. I'm trying to continue to progress all of the time. Once you think you're at the top, you're going to stop growing, and then people are going to surpass you. So my personal goal is just to keep developing and growing as a teacher and as a dog trainer and as a handler and as a coach and all that stuff. So yeah, they help me a lot, but I certainly owe a lot of my success to McCann dogs for sure.
Yeah, and you know,
and that's not to. I didn't want to be
not downplaying.
No,
you're not downplaying OMD.
Yeah.
But for sure. And you know, Kale has had success in dog agility for a long time.
I won my first world championship when I was 19 years old.
Yeah. So, you know, we often talk about how obedience, or a dog that listens, you know, your understanding of dog training, how impactful that can be with your success as an agility handler, with your dog's success at whatever you want to do with them. You know, so I think Kale's opportunity to see 500 dogs a week come in here in our obedience facility and in our agility facility has really given her, you know, great insight into dog behavior and understanding how her dogs think and learn, and et cetera. So, you know, a good obedience is the foundation of a great agility dog. There's no question. Any, very successful agility handler will tell you the same thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you that when I go to teach seminars all over the place, even like in the last 5 years when I would go to teach One Mind Dog seminars, I would end up teaching way more about dog training than I would about One Mind Dogs or agility specifically, because the root of the problem for people was a misunderstanding on how to train the dog to do something. It was like some other skill that was lacking. So what happens with people is they learn a lot about Dork, you put your toy in your water bin. Here. They get to a certain point into their agility and they plateau and they can't, hi my love, I love you so much. They plateau and they can't go any further, and it's because there's a hole in the training. So that's why we're so big on the dog training part of things, because if you understand how to train through things, there's a good saying, train them, don't blame them. You got to train them to do things. You can train your dog to do anything. You just have to know how to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's hi, buddy. Are you going to jump up or what? Oh, you're almost. And I love that idea that if they're making mistakes, it's your fault. So I'm going to spin around to the back of the camera. We can show off, and maybe Kale can tell us a little bit of what she's doing with Miss Beeline here. And so talk about Beeline. If anybody's just jumping on the stream, who is Beeline?
Okay, so Beeline's my young puppy. She is a year and a half old, so I guess she's not technically a puppy anymore. But she is young and out. I have been going a little slower with my training with her, just because I obviously am learning more and more about dogs' bodies and fitness and injury and stuff like that. So I'm not in a big rush. So I've been taking things slowly. I've just started to progress to putting a lot of things together. So she does know quite a bit. And I've just started working on my weep poles, and I've noticed in the last little bit her footwork's kind of gone a little bit wonky on the weep poles. So I had class earlier today, and she did the full set of weaves, and they were good, but I want great. So I thought that I would just do a quick session before I went home on these channel weaves, so I can spread them, which will get her to swim through the weaves. So what I'm looking for her to do is put only one paw on either side of the channel instead of hop, 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 because it's a little bit faster for a lot of dogs. She's little, but she can do it here, and I want to be able to see if I can get her to do it there as well. So yeah, I'll just probably do some jumps and tunnels and work on entries and try and reward her. And then I'm only working 6, so I can do more reps without her getting too tired, and I can reward her more quickly. So, yeah.
Someone mentioned in the chat a little bit earlier, and I forgot to respond to this question, but they said the dogs are moving so fast, I'm going to have to learn how to say jump, jump, jump faster. But talk about how that's a bit of a misconception.
Yeah, we teach people to speak when they need to speak. Otherwise, zip it. You don't have to talk around the entire course. A lot of the dogs are just responding to your body language anyways. I do teach my dogs to respond to a lot of verbal commands. They have verbals for directions. They have verbals for slowing down. They have verbals for checking in with me, turning, all that type of stuff. But I use it when I need it. You certainly don't need to run around an entire course and talk the whole time if that's not something comfortable for you. However, we will recommend that to some people who are having motivation issues, because sometimes people are so boring when they run their dogs that they just aren't getting enough out of them. They're not running them like intensely or aggressively enough. And sometimes getting people to talk more and being more animated can actually increase the dog's speed immensely. When you run dogs like this, though, where you don't really want, not that I don't want to increase speed, but I'm trying not to let her mind get into like the, outer space. So I speak when I need to speak, and I try to be quiet when I don't need to. Okay. Is that okay?
So what are you going to work on first, the channel?
Yeah, I'm just going to put some of these ducks over for her. Ready?
Hi there, Faith Peck.
Okay, go. Oh! Shh. Okay, go. Yay! There you go. Good girlie. Did you have a forgetful moment?
Look at how enthusiastic Beeline is.
Say go! Yes, that girl! That's better. Yay!
So you notice Beeline is jumping we posted a video, maybe a couple years ago now, or a year ago now, with Bee talking about how to get that energetic retrieve. So check that video out if you're looking for that retrieve where your dog comes leaping back in and is super excited.
Go. Yes! Yay!
Good girl. You see, Kale's breaking it down a lot. She's just presenting, a few obstacles to Beeline.
Go! Yes!
Good. Really focusing on precision and her being great and being motivated.
Good girl. Ready? On your mark. Get set. Time. Wait. Oh, baby. Ready? Set, go. Time. Wait.
It's a little hard for us. Kale's going to have to help her out
Yes!
to be right.
Son of a girl, here. Come here. Rad, that'll do. Go, time. Ready?
Rad is just off camera.
Wait. Yeah!
Good girlie.
Good girl.
That's tough for Rad. He's just off camera and he is really excited when he sees Beeline go for a run. He's jealous that he wants to be out here working too.
Go. Beat. Go. Yes! Good. Nice. Who's a good girl?
So Kale, why do you use the channel instead of the weaves?
What's that?
Why do you use the channels instead of like a 6 set of weaves?
So that they can be spread apart. So that the dog can go faster. Teach better footwork. And I always use guide wires when they're learning so that they're not learning to do it incorrectly, to build confidence about being right, and then I wean off the guides later on. So I use the guides all the way up until I actually do a straight set. I love channels. My favorite. Okay, kitty. Hey, come here.
Are you still working?
Yeah, out. A little bit more.
Okay. I see some questions coming in. I'll get to those.
Yes! Good girl! Nice! Just getting tired, I think.
Bee also loves to tug, you can see.
One more. Ready? On mark. Yes. Go. Wait. Oh, cheater, pumpkin eater. Yeah. Ready? Go.
Good
Woo! Good girl.
Good.
She's done. Who's the good girlie?
Great.
You're so good.
Guys, I'm going to move you just a
Are
little
you
bit and
so
bring
good?
us down ever so slightly.
What's that?
I'm just going to bring this camera down just a little bit so they don't have to look directly at our heads.
You're so funny about lying under things.
Yeah, I know.
You're such a border collie. Hi, my love. You're the best dog.
Okay.
Here, bring her here. Come lie with me. Come here. Lie down.
Okay, I think it's a pretty good angle there. Let's see, I'll turn our camera around.
Have a drink?
So, oh no, I may be too low now. I'll just move back. Yeah. Okay, close enough. That's as close as I'm getting it now. Okay, Shanlin Blake, awesome, thank you, love these streams. Oh, these streams are the best. Well, thanks for watching, Shanlin. We see you lots in our live streams, and we appreciate you watching. Becky Parker, yes, thank you guys so much for inviting us in and sharing your world and your knowledge with us. Well, we appreciate that, Becky. It's, you know, so often we're chatting about dogs, dog training, dog agility, and this is happens multiple times a week. So we thought we'd just invite you guys in and you
Normally
can
we
hang
have
out
more
with us.
friends with us, but everybody
It's
trained their dogs early tonight and went home.
And it's the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
So, you know, people have like stuff that's going on and
Yeah, usually Jamie and I are here until at least midnight,
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But she trained in the 8:30 class tonight, and so her dog was like totally finished by the end of the night, so she went home.
Virginia Ward, thank you guys for the live chat and answering questions. Now I'm going to have to check out the retrieval videos too. Yeah, I definitely suggest.
Yeah.
It is such a useful skill. You know, it's so great for agility. It's so great for just general dog behavior. It's so nice to be able, if you don't have time to walk your dog, you can go out in the backyard or to, you know, a grassy space or somewhere on the farm or wherever your situation is and play a game of fetch. And it's a great way to burn off a bunch of energy in a hurry. You know, work on that with your dog, and you will thank them for it. You will thank yourself for it. You know what I mean. Are you going to stretch her out too, or are you just going to?
Yeah.
Or are you going to? Do you want to walk?
Her new thing is that she likes to take her toy and then go and lie underneath something.
I know.
It's a table or a jump or an A-frame.
Yeah. Madison Winter says you can see B goes a little bit between Funky's little two-hop and swimming through. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons that you're using that channel is to really like nail down that.
She doesn't know what to do yet. Her footwork is different every single time, and that is an indication to me that she's not really ready to be doing full wheeze. Like, I think if I put her on full wheeze with guides, she would do them correctly without making errors, but I'm looking for something a little higher quality, so I'm going to take, you know, the extra time that it takes to teach her to do the weave pulls as efficiently as possible. Mm-hmm. And if it means just, you know, not rushing through just to get it done, then that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I do on all of my equipment, which is why their individual obstacle performance is generally pretty strong, is because I really take my time developing each one individually before I really worry about sequencing it together. So she'll figure the weaves out. Honestly, I haven't really been putting forth much effort towards it. I've been working on my dog walk and my A-frame a lot, and my teeter-totter a little bit. So I need to focus on my two weakest things for her. And by weak, they're not obviously bad, but just not as far along, which I'm okay with.
I really like this question from Shandlin Blake. Your favorite way to build fitness away from agility?
For dogs?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Hiking and swimming. We do a lot of hiking, so up and down hills and over, you know, falling down trees and up and down the escarpment in and out of the water. Mm-hmm. We also do our dogs do a lot of free running. So we are lucky enough to live on 22 acres, and there's a lot of flat ground out here. So our dogs will all go out in the field and they'll run together. So they get a ton of exercise and they get in shape that way. And then with some of our dogs that don't, like Funky, she doesn't really care about running with the other dogs. She's got terrier in her, so she wants to just hunt the whole time. So you have to work so much harder to exercise her. So we've trained her to run on the treadmill, and then we also bike her as well. So she knows to run beside our bike. So I'll bike her. I haven't been doing it as much lately, but because it's so hot out. But she does bike with us. I used to play a lot of chuck it, but I don't do chuck it with my dogs anymore because my dogs were getting hurt too much.
Yeah.
So, so those are the three main things that I do, or four, I guess: hiking, swimming, free running, and like controlled running, like with a bike or on a treadmill or something. And they all sort of do different things.
Yeah, maybe that's something else we can talk about. As when the winter weather rolls around, maybe we could talk about, how we would use a treadmill for the dogs. Because sometimes it's just, and here in Canada, I know we have people watching from all over the world watching our videos, but here in Canada it can get really icy and nasty in the wintertime sometimes, and it's not very nice to take your dogs outside, and it's hard on their feet, so on and so forth.
Yeah, we don't really use the treadmill much in the summer, or in the spring, because we can go outside, but in the winter we use it more.
Yeah, it's really helpful to have the treadmill in the house, and
or we go to Florida where we can bike the dogs.
Yeah, I wish we could do that more. Just not the case. But so we use a treadmill. We can maybe we can make a video about that, talking about how we use a treadmill with our dogs, just to get them moving. Just to get them, maintain that.
Our one border collie also, I take him to a rehab place, and he does an underwater treadmill once a week as well.
Yeah, it's really helpful.
And swims. Yeah.
So I see Megan Ashley says Fox and I play fetch every morning at the park. Yeah, it's so much fun. Fetch is a great way to burn off that energy.
And it's a good way to spend time together too. That's like it's not a stressful thing to do together. Like sometimes agility, like there's a lot of mental stuff. Sometimes it's just nice to throw a ball and like not have to do anything that's like super mental. So I like that part of it. Sometimes if I've been teaching a lot and I'm supposed to train my dogs, but I'm just like not mentally into it because I've had a long night or I'm just not feeling very energetic, then I'll take them for a walk around the property, or I'll throw something in here for them and just play with them. So that way I'm still doing something with them that's fun, but it doesn't have to be like a big, like, planned thing. Yeah.
Crystal, the animal lover, thanks for watching. I know she's thanks for live streaming. Have a great night. So Shannon Blake says, haha, yes for dogs. I know what I have to do. I just don't want to.
I feel the same, sister.
Yeah. Melanie Caldwell, what is Beeline wearing?
On her bum. She's in season right now. So she's wearing like little panties on her bum so that she doesn't mess up our equipment for the male dogs.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what you mean because I'm pretty sure you know what a collar is.
Yeah.
So she's wearing them in here just so that it makes it easier on the male dogs.
Tara Reed, I would love to see a treadmill video, and teaching your dog with you would be a good one too. Yeah, I've been sort of bouncing around between some of the things that come up in our classes. Like, we love hearing from you guys, and a lot of our videos come from the suggestions that you have. So continue to, send us your comments and questions. Comment on our videos. Our live streams are especially good for, commenting whether you're watching it on the replay or live, letting us know what you want to see. But teaching you to bike with your dog is something that we have talked about, and we actually were going to shoot it one day and ran into some troubles with timing and stuff. Yeah. So we had to get another video published.
Or the weather's been crappy.
Yeah, we haven't. It's just been funny. So I have on the.
It's on the list.
Yeah, it's on the list. I have an itinerary for the next few videos, but it is going on the list, and we will definitely work on that video. Chandlin Blake asks, where do you get her panties from? I have a 6-month-old puppy that will need some soon. Just 1 second, sorry. Leanne Maribel, no, Kale's just stretching Beeline out after she ran some agility. So she's not, she said, what happened with an exclamation point, question mark.
Oh.
So yeah, she's just stretching her out.
Good.
Yeah, she's in cool down mode. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. I think I got these from Ren's Pet Depot. It's a Canadian store. I'm not sure if you're Canadian or not. But you can get them at most pet store. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them lots of places.
Yeah. Madison says, I struggle with
you can make your own too.
Yeah, actually a lot of people do that, don't they? Madison says, I struggle with my weaves with my one Aussie, and I'm afraid to use guide wires. I don't want her becoming too dependent on them. And I think that's probably the most common. If someone doesn't want to use them, I think that might be something that they have in their mind. That's the reason they don't want to use them. But those weave guides can be such a powerful training tool if you use them correctly. And I know occasionally if we have a really challenging entry, if you pop or exit, if you pop the weave guides on, and like when Rad was popping, what did you do with him?
Threw guides on.
Yeah.
And I put them on for This time, one training session.
Yeah.
1 5-minute training session, and it fixed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to think about it's just like any other training aid. You know, your dog has to be able to do agility without a toy in your hand. You know, your dog has to do agility without having food or without a collar or a leash on or whatever. Those are all training aids. You know, guide wires are training aids. So it's all about how you use them. You know, we use them and then we wean off of them at the appropriate time and we integrate them back in. I love props. I use props a lot with my training and agility. But I take notice of when I feel the dog is ready to not need the prop anymore. And then I put it back in. That's another thing people do incorrectly, in my opinion, with props is they use them, they wean off of them, and then they never go back to them. And then they allow a problem to develop. Right. So my big thing is when I see a glimmer of an issue starting, boom, prop goes back in, and it solves itself in one training session. I don't allow something to unravel until I have a full-fledged problem. B, come here, baby. Come on, babe. I try to deal with it quickly. Come here. You're donezo, Missy. What do you think you're doing?
Yeah,
Come
so
here.
hopefully that helps Madison. Crystal, the animal lover, says, will you do agility videos with Beeline?
Lie down.
And can you show B going on the A-frame? I think we might save that for another video, only because she looks pretty tired. B also had agility class earlier, the one I was teaching.
And I also trained her in the middle of the day today.
Right. So I think we might be winding the day down for little Beeline. We don't want to work her too hard, but she's had a busy day. But we will definitely show more agility with her. Maybe in one of our hangouts, maybe one of our subscriber hangouts. Now I saw Madison Winters made a comment. Madison I want to show you guys some of the dogs that you guys don't get to see. I mean, you've seen all of our other dogs at one point or another, and I think when I saw Madison making a comment up here, I thought Madison might be one of the only people that really knows these other dogs because she years ago.
Like our other dogs?
Yeah, some of these other dogs that are on the wall.
I mean the old dogs.
Yeah. Because she drew a picture years ago that had some of these dogs in them. So I want to show them to you guys. And so I before I get there, I see...
I need to put 2 more up on that wall now.
Yeah, you do. I see Leanne Maribel, glad she's fine. My Border Collie is 1.5 years old. Is agility worth it or not? I just want to do it for fun.
Yeah, you can do agility for fun or you can do it for competition. That's the great thing about it. You don't have to... Some people don't ever want to compete. They just want to train and enjoy their dog and have fun. We have 5 levels of agility classes here, and everybody goes through the first 3 levels where it's all about development and training. And then some people just stop at level 3 and they take it for years. And it's like some people do it for recreation and some people use it for a stepping stone to move into like competitive agility. But yeah, it's all personal preference. You certainly don't have to do it competitively. You can just have fun with your dog. That's the great thing about it.
Now I want to take this opportunity because we've shown off all of our other dogs, but you guys need to know, if you don't know who these guys are, these dogs played a pretty important role in Kale's life. And I just want to talk about them for a second. Maybe Kale can just, elaborate on who they are. And Kale had some banners made for some of her dogs.
Those are all my retired dogs.
Yeah, these are all the retired dogs.
And sadly, those 3 are no longer with us.
Yeah. So talk about Slice just for a minute.
Slice is probably the best Border Collie and dog I have ever owned and will ever own in my entire life. She is the base dog of all of our current Border Collies. She's my Border Collie Grand Slam's mom, she's Rad's grandma, and she's Beeline's great-grandma, so we have 4 generations. She's won a lot of world championships, but she was just a fabulous dog. She was very even-tempered, she was super fast, and for her time, so she did a lot of winning from 2006 to 2012. She won her last gold medal at age 11, which is pretty crazy, at the World Championships. And she was just a phenomenal dog. Yeah. I miss her so much. Yeah, we just lost her earlier this year, or last year.
Last year, yeah. She was a pretty amazing dog.
It literally feels like yesterday.
I know. So let's talk a little bit about Jitterbug. Now, Jitterbug has a special place in my heart because Jitterbug introduced me to agility after she was well, I guess while she was Kale's competition dog, Jitterbug was a dog that I was able to do agility shows with. I'd take her out to the shows and I'd be able to compete.
She would run for anybody.
She would run for anybody, yeah, and she was super reliable. She was also my first flyball dog. And I will never forget my first tournament where, we were getting like nose passes, and it was so exciting because Jitterbug just loved sports, but she loved people.
Yeah.
And that really made her a special dog. It's hard to not love a dog who is that much of a people dog.
Yeah.
Really, really sweet. But gave a lot of people an opportunity to be introduced to dog sports.
Yeah, she was a great dog. She wasn't quite as fast as Slice. She wasn't quite as athletically talented as Slice was, but she still was very good. She did lots of world competitions as well. And actually the very first world championship I ever won was with her, and it came as like a complete surprise because it was like an overall a cumulative of 5, and I did really well in all 5 rounds, but I didn't win any of them. So I just thought that I was going to be like 4th or 5th. Like I knew I would be up there. And then they announced 3rd place and 2nd place, and I sort of, I was disappointed, but also like, that's okay. Like, I still did pretty good. And then they called my name, and I was almost like, oh my God, no way. So anyway, that was super exciting. That was in 2006 in Holland. But yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
She was a great dog. Super consistent, super reliable, fast, like very fast, but not the fastest dog. She was always around like 3rd, 4th place.
Yeah,
that was
but consistent.
Yeah.
Now, this other dog that we have, the other retired dog that we have up on the wall here.
Ping-a-ling-a-ding-dong.
Ping Pong. And Ping Pong holds a special place in Kale's heart for a couple reasons.
Yeah, Ping Pong was my first competitive agility dog. I got her when I was 15 or 14 years old, or 15 years old. And she was the first dog that I actually was like, that was really good. I had 2 or 3 agility dogs prior to her that obviously I was a young kid, so they were decent, but they weren't super competitive. She was really good, so she's the first dog that I ever made a world team with. In 2004, I was 19. And she was she was a quarter B. She was a quarter Jack Russell, 3/4 Border Collie. And she was actually a little bit smaller than Beeline. And she was a fabulous dog. Really, really great dog.
Yeah, pretty amazing dog.
Took me all over the world.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'll just show off some of these little signs that we have up here.
So those,
some of the things
I'm down a couple
that
years.
Kale has done.
I only went up to 2016. So those are all the medals I've won. I'm up to 40 now. And all of the flags in the top of the, as you see hanging from the ceilings, they are all the countries I've competed in.
You're going to need to update these.
Yeah, I don't have 2017 or 18
No.
up there yet. But one day.
Yeah. Lots of success with these amazing dogs. And as we talked about, it comes from a foundation of obedience, and an understanding of dog training from Kale.
And again, it's not all about like competition. So,
Right.
There's lots of people that come here because they have, really big aspirations to, make a world team. We actually have 4 people from here over in Austria right now.
We should talk about that a little bit.
About to compete at the European Open.
Yeah, we want to wish them luck, and if you're watching this on the replay, I will see if I can find a live stream to the competition. If there's a free live stream, and I'll definitely share it in the description below on the replay.
But we also have people who just want to compete to get titles with their dogs. We have people who are just doing it for exercise, for them and for the dog. So, all levels can do agility. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah. Madison says, when I was 8.5, I saw Kale on a TV show and fell in love. Fell in love. She had Slice and Funky. I fell in love with them. I've wanted a Border Collie ever since. Yeah. We still have that picture.
Breeder
Madison.
of the Pack, I think she's talking about from Animal Planet.
The Animal Planet show. Yeah. Becky Parker says the banners are beautiful tributes. Yeah, they are, Becky.
Yeah,
I agree.
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, often I'll come in here and it's you forget about them, and then you glance up and you remember how incredible each and every one of those dogs were, and how they shaped Kale's life.
Yeah.
They gave her all these opportunities to travel the world. This is the one. Like I talk about this often, but Deegan, for example, that dog changed my life, and dogs can have that impact on your life. They can literally take in all of these different directions, whether you want to be a world-class, an international champion, world champion of dog agility, or you just want to be, somebody with a well-behaved four-legged family member, which was the case for me before I came here. They can do such amazing things, and you should never underestimate the power of your dog because they're pretty amazing animals. Melanie says, Kale, I'd love to know how you came up with your dog's names. They're all so cute and fitting. So this is interesting. You should talk about some of these dogs' names because there is, Melanie, there is a structure to it.
Yeah, so it actually started with ping pong. So like back when I was 15, I don't know, I got in this like thing where I wanted all the dogs to have double names. I don't call them by their double name all of the time. My dad actually ended up thinking of the name Ping Pong, and people thought it was a terrible name, but I thought it was so cute because I liked the name Ping. I thought that was like really short and,
Yeah, specific.
Yeah. And then Jitterbug was next, and I liked the name Jitter, so Jitterbug seemed like an easy way to make that too. Slice obviously doesn't work out because she actually wasn't supposed to be my dog.
It's an interesting story.
I trained her one summer for a golf course. I was supposed to train her, and then we were going to sell her to a golf course to chase the geese off and keep the golf course clean. And Bee, come here, please. Bee, come here. Come here. So her name is actually a golf term, slice and hook. So that's where her name came from. And then Grand Slam. We named him Grand Slam because my family's a huge baseball family. We love baseball. I played baseball my entire childhood. Actually, so did Ken. And Grand Slam is when the bases are loaded and somebody hits a home run if you're not a baseball person. So it's like and most of the time we call him Slam, but I would say that he also gets Granny a lot.
I call him Slimy quite
Slimy,
often.
yeah. I call him Granny.
Our dogs have multiple names.
Yeah.
They have like one official name, and then they have a lot of. You probably heard Kale call Radley, Rah-Rah, Tatters, Tata. I mean, it goes on and on. But our dogs just.
Rad only has one name because Rad actually is Ken's dog, but I stole him.
Yeah, she did. That happened.
He's our dog.
Yeah.
And Beeline is our dog.
Right. Sure.
We just happen to do specific things with the dogs.
Until I start doing more herding with Beeline because she's doing really great at sheep herding.
Yeah.
And then she'll become my dog.
Schedule
You'll become
weekends.
my dog. You'll be my sheep herding dog.
Yeah. Anyway, so all the dogs sort of came, the names came from some idea that I had, and I literally have a note in my phone. Every time I think of something cool, I write it down, and I had the name Beeline forever, but I was going to name her Leapfrog, and then I had one other name. I forget what it was.
So what Kale thinks about when she's putting together a name for the dog, I don't want you licking my ears, is what is she going to shorten it to?
Yeah.
Like the dog needs, even if it has like a two name, it needs to be shortened to something, and that makes a big difference what that dog ends up being named.
Yeah, because we call Beeline B most of the time. Or Little B. But yeah, anyways, that's sort of where it comes from. It's sort of silly, but now that I've done so many of them, I kind of have to, keep it up.
And Madison says, and Hippie got caught in the middle.
Hippie's name is Hippie Shake.
Yeah.
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 And because I love the name Shaker, I saw a band one time named the Shakers, and loved that name, and so I wanted to actually call her Shaker, so we called her Hippie Shake, but then... I don't know, hippie. It just was, I don't know. We call her hipster, dip. She has a lot of nicknames as well.
Yeah, do you guys have a dog at home that sort of becomes their name? Like you name a dog something and then you're like, oh geez, this is definitely whatever the name might be. Hippie Shake really has become a hippie shake. Like she looks like a hippie shake.
She's a wild woman.
Yeah, she's got this great poof all the time.
And Funky Monkey. Funky is absolutely a monkey.
Yeah, she is definitely a monkey.
Oh my God, she's such a monkey.
Sure. Yeah. And she's rather funky.
Yeah. She's a funky monkey.
Venice Flicks.
How did you rope me into tugging with you again, Missy?
So I've got two really good questions here. And first I'm going to get to Patricia Denston. Any tips for first dog handler battling ring stress?
It depends what the ring stress is from. You sort of have to figure out what the root of the problem is in order to know how to fix it. That would be my first thing, is you need to figure out what the root of the issue is, because...
And I'm not sure if she's talking about she's talking about the dog or the person.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know for sure.
If it's the dog, then I would be cautious about how quickly you do ring stuff. Make sure the dog is competent in class. Take the show on the road. Get training in some different locations, inside, outside, where you can be using rewards. Get out to some different fun matches. Sign up for organizations that have training. FEO runs where you can take rewards in the ring. If it's you that has the ring stress, then you need to relax, because it's supposed to be fun. Don't take it so seriously. Figure out, why are you stressed? Like, what are you worried about? Are you worried about failing? Everybody fails in agility. If you think you're going to do this sport and be good at it all the time, you need to pick a new sport, because you fail way more than you succeed, and you just sort of have to...
And having watched this sport, I've competed at a regional level, but I've never been at the international level. But having watched a lot of international competitions, these things, failure will happen, but that's what makes the sport so exciting.
Makes it fun.
Is that the consequences are so high. For a knocked bar can ruin an entire weekend. But when you have a great run, when you're connecting with your dog and things are going well, and you get to experience the excitement and that incredible feeling when you cross that line. I remember doing qualifiers for Sinosport with a dog named Hummer. That he wasn't really an agility competition dog, but he was
flyball dog.
Yeah, he was a flyball dog. But I ran him in agility, and it was an amazing experience for me. Some runs were terrible. Some just came crashing to the ground. But those runs where he was successful and he did a great job were, so gratifying, so much fun. You can't worry about if it doesn't go well. Just sort of, take it as it comes. Another great question. I've lost it now. From Venice Flicks. When do you know it's time to retire your dog from agility?
That's a good question, and very pertinent, since I just retired a dog from agility. For me, I guess it sort of depends on your goals. For me, I just retired my dog Funky Monkey from agility. Not to say that I won't ever do agility with her again, but I won't probably do any big competitions with her. She's proved done everything in agility that she could possibly do.
A lot of success.
Yeah, and at this point, my dogs are our family pets first. So their body and how crippled they are as an old dog is something that I take really seriously. So, I want to try and make sure that I keep them in shape. I still do things with Funky. We still keep her in shape, but I don't want her to be a old sore dog because I've run her, into the ground as an old dog. You need to look at their body, their movement, their drive. Some people just keep playing with dogs because they want to play, not because it's in the best interest of the dog. So you really need to separate for me, I have an emotional attachment to running Funky in agility. So to not run her actually is one of the things that screwed me over at this last world team competition, because I literally would lead out for the last couple runs, and I had tears. I hope the live stream didn't pick it up.
She might right now.
I know, because
she's thinking about it.
He can tell by my voice.
I can tell, yeah.
But I literally had tears. Oh, now I'm gonna cry. Shit. Say something funny.
I can't think of anything funny.
Okay. Anyways, I would have tears going down my face because I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be my last run. Blah 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 blah. She could care less. She's barking on the start line. She's got spit flying out of her mouth. She doesn't care. So it's all me. It was my emotional attachment to it. She would be happy to run agility and then go and sleep on the couch in the nighttime. So I don't know. You kind of have to figure out, is it for you or is it for the dog? And be smart about it. There's veteran classes and things that you can run old dogs in, but I just decided to pull the plug with Funky. I want her to live old and be able to walk.
So it brings up
Beeline, come here, babe.
It brings up an interesting point, and I think some people have an expectation that these high-level agility dogs are kept in a glass case.
Lie down.
And they are only for sport, only for competition. But these are our family. These guys are our. So we that comes first, making sure that they're healthy and happy and well. Comes before all of those other things.
Absolutely.
So you need to take that into account when when you're thinking about that with your dog. If you're at a point when you're considering retirement. Okay, so I see Leanne Maribel, best Frisbee brands that you know of. We have a 4-time world champion, a disc dog world champion, Carol Lawrence, is one of our instructors. And I think I've seen her use Jaws Frisbees and Hyperflight. Yeah. I think those are 2 brands. I don't know much about disc dog.
We'll find that out.
Yeah, but we do have a disc dog. We have a couple of videos that she talked about disc dog stuff. And her dog's at Thorpe. You live stream guys that have been here before have probably seen Thorpe. Totally deaf, and that dog is like a 4-time world champion of disc dog. Incredible and amazing dog.
If you're going to be using Frisbees for agility, though, I have this one. I love this. It's soft. It's got a maple leaf on it, and it comes in 2 different sizes. And I like it because it's soft, so I can shove it down the back of my pants, and I can tug with her. It doesn't hurt her mouth. When she tugs on it. It doesn't always fly as well as some of these discs that he's speaking of, but for agility, I would use a soft one.
Yeah. So it's also nice for teaching your fetch, teaching your retrieve, because it can be an interactive toy as well as a retrieve toy. So we have gone almost an hour and a half on this live stream, and we probably need to shut things down. I want to thank you guys for watching. I think this is something that we'll be able to do, on a monthly basis maybe. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us here in our agility training facility and hanging out for like a subscriber hangout. So thank you guys for watching, and I guess until next time, and at least until Thursday, you guys, and bye for now.
Bye. Say bye, little bee. The cutest little freckle-faced border collie in the world. Yeah.